What's up, Authentic fam? Welcome back to Authentic Alphas. So I'm sure most of you guys have heard by now. Yeah, some discouraging news about the Tate brothers. So apparently these guys got arrested earlier this week on multiple charges. So at this point, really not a lot of information available. I mean, I caught wind of it last night. So a bunch of guys have been asking me about it, emailing me about it. Obviously, guys know that I know Andrew. I've met him and his brother. So listen, I don't know these guys that well, but I definitely do not think that these charges that are levied against them are legitimate. I think that this is definitely just a case of basically female not taking accountability. That's just my opinion. But let's first go into some of the information that's available, which, like I said, guys, is very little information. But really, it says here, the police, search the apartment of Tristan Tate, I guess Bianca's ex-boyfriend, and her brother Andrew Tate, after, according to some sources, a 21-year-old girl illegally deprived of liberty was at the address. So some of the wording is going to be a little weird, guys, just simply because I imagine it's being translated from Romanian into English. But they are being charged with kidnapping, and I guess the way they translate that is deprivation of liberty, or deprived of liberty. Now, there are some other charges that they're throwing on there, but the main thing is that supposedly they kidnapped this 21-year-old girl and were holding her against her will, and she is a 21-year-old American citizen, and I believe she's supposed to be in college. 21-year-old woman allegedly kidnapped in one of the apartments of the brothers Tristan and Andrew Tate. Let's see what we have here. Police in Lvov, sorry if I can't pronounce these Romanian words properly, country, are conducting searches on Monday evening after being notified that a woman was being held against her will in a building in the town of, I guess that says Volatineri. On on April 4th, I think this is, because they put their dates in on April 11th, because they put they put the day first, then the month. So it's the day that this is taking place is the 11th of April. So the IPJIF was notified by telephone by a representative of the Office of Diplomatic Security at the U.S. Embassy regarding the fact that at the level of this institution, information was received according to which in a building located on Washington Street in the city of Volatineri named Emma Adia Gabi, age 21, an American citizen, she is illegally deprived of her liberty. All right, so this is what the police are saying formally. He then contacted the Diplomatic Security Bureau, and after obtaining additional information, the police forces within the Volatineri city, police notified the ex-officer the commission of the crime of alleged illegal deprivation of liberty. Following the latest police checks, it has been established that Emma may be in the building on Washington Street in Volatineri owned by the brothers Tristan and Andrew Tate. The police obtained 2 search warrants through the prosecutor's office attached to the court from the court on deprivation of liberty. The mandates are executed by the IPJ. It looks like they only got the warrants for that particular charge, and I think what happened was they decided to try to charge them with other things while making the arrest. So I haven't tried to contact either of the brothers. What would I say? Right now is not the time. So yeah, I mean, prayed about it last night. I'm hoping that this, you know, blows over as more information comes out, and it turns out that our guys are innocent. To most of us, of course, it's not going to really make much sense. It's like, come on, the Tate brothers, why would they have to kidnap a chick? I mean, come on, they obviously have the money, they have the lifestyle, they have the status, and are always surrounded by dozens of willing and able women. So I'm really just gonna give you guys that piece. You guys can look into it more if you'd like. And like I said, a lot of information hasn't come out yet, and usually it doesn't come out for a while when you're dealing with these type of things. Um, but I will give, my opinion on it, which is just simply that we have to, reserve any type of judgment at this point. I don't think there's enough information to say either way, innocent or guilty. But what I will say is my experience with situations like this is really what it usually comes down to is some young girl wanted to be in some environment. Whether she should or shouldn't be there is another conversation. And when people that she, I guess, has to answer to, whether that be her friends or her family or her employer or whoever has some type of authority over her, who she needs to explain herself to, find out that she was in said environment, she gets to basically trying to make excuses that deny any accountability. So real quick, I'll just give you an example where I've seen this the most. I've seen this the most working in the nightclub industry, where women will have a couple of drinks, they'll want to hang out with certain bad boys, they'll want to hook up with certain guys that they just met, and when they go missing and their friends are looking for them, when they finally find the girl, it's like, what happened? Where were you? And then it's like, wait, you were hooking up with this guy? Like, what happened? How could you? And then the girl says something to the effect of, oh, I didn't want to. And what she means by that is, I didn't plan to. And what she means by that is, I didn't plan for people to find out. Really. Because a lot of times this is their plan, this is their intention or their agenda, but of course they don't want to admit it. They don't want to be a slut or a hoe or a thought or whatever. And then they get to blame it on the alcohol. Oh, well, I was drunk. And then whoever she's talking to, their next step is going to be, wait a minute, so you didn't want to do it, but you were drunk, and he did it anyway. So you guys see where I'm going with this. And this is exactly what they do. They lead the girl down this narrative, and then it's like, yeah, I was drunk, and then it's like, so he took advantage of you. Oh, well, I didn't say that. It's just that, no. You said you were drunk, and that you didn't have any intentions of doing this, but then the guy did it anyway, therefore, this plus this equals this. So the conclusion that they come to is that the guy took advantage of the girl. Now, when you put that into legal terms, it becomes some type of misconduct, and now all of a sudden this guy's getting charged with something when really all it was is some girl was having a good time, she got into the mood, she had a couple drinks in her, and she wanted to fool around, and it doesn't look good on her behalf, so she's passing the blame off to the guy, and now the guy is in a world full of trouble now, right? Because they're going to make him out to be some type of culprit, some type of predator, somehow he took advantage of her, or whatever. You see where I'm going with this? So if I have to guess, based on what I know about the Tate brothers and what we've all seen, of their content and their lifestyle, I would imagine that some girl that was wet behind the ears, she's only 21, she's maybe just now getting into the party scene, into hanging out with guys that drive supercars and, have this type of money and status and live this lifestyle, and she just wants to play. Girls just want to have fun. And she might say, oh yeah, I want to hang out with these guys, I want to do whatever these girls are doing, I want to make money however these girls are making money, whatever the case may be. But obviously she doesn't tell this to her parents. She didn't say, Mama, I want to go do this, this, and this with these guys with tattoos and $500,000 cars or whatever. She doesn't say that. So when she goes missing for X amount of time, off on her escapades, and the family can't find her, it only takes one hater that she told. It only takes one ugly girl that's a friend of hers that she told, hey, I'm going to spend, a few days with the Tate brothers, and that girl's not, pretty enough to make the cut. Now she runs back and tells her brother or her sister or her mom or her aunt, whatever. And then it gets back to the mom, because what I didn't read was actually the statement that the mother gave. So I'm going to read that here in a second. You guys will see why that's kind of what I'm guessing happened. And again, this is just my opinion. This doesn't mean anything. I don't know shit. I don't know any more than you guys know. I only know what I've read so far. But let me just go into what the mother said, and you'll see why I'm going down that train of thought. So the mother says, I always ask her if she had a boyfriend, and she said, no, mommy, I'm just going to college. Yeah, that's pretty much what college girls say these days. They don't say I have a sugar daddy. They don't say I'm hanging out with these guys. They don't say I'm doing this, that, and the third. They don't say I have an OnlyFans. They don't say that. They just say, oh, no, mama, I'm just going to college. She's a very good child. I think that's why she recruited her, or he recruited her. So now she's making one of the brothers out to be some type of predator that's preying on young innocent women because she is too naive. All right, so the mother's over here guessing what the situation was and also assuming that her daughter was honest with her. She told me, the translation's a little off, guys, so I'm trying to read it how it should be. She told me she was going out for a drink with a friend. It seemed strange to me from the beginning. Since I saw pictures of the girl, she said she was, she said she was dating. I saw that girl had a more dubious face. I didn't like her, but I said not to say anything to my child. I think what the mother is trying to say is that the daughter told her, I'm going to hang out with a female friend, and when she saw a picture of the friend, she thought that the girl looked, the word that they translated it to was dubious. I'm guessing she probably was thinking that's a slutty looking girl that you're going to hang out with. I thought she was a colleague of hers. She also goes out for coffee with a colleague. She doesn't do anything wrong. That's why I think that's why. Okay, real quick, guys. I don't want to get into the weeds, but I'm just pointing out things. So, first of all, the mother is guessing. And she's guessing under the pretense that somehow her daughter is innocent and anything her daughter gets into is the fault of the people that the daughter is associating with, not her adult daughter. This is a 21-year-old, I might add. This is similar to when, some criminal black guy gets gunned down and then all of a sudden, my baby never hurt nobody. My baby never did nothing to nobody. Really? Your son never did anything to anybody? Your son was out here with drugs and guns and hanging out with a bad crowd and committing all type of crimes, and when he gets killed, all of a sudden, my baby innocent. My baby ain't never did nothing to nobody. I mean, come on, man. Parents are always going to want to believe their kids are innocent, right? Clearly, the entourage is to blame. This is what the mother's saying. Clearly, the Tate brothers are to blame that your daughter wants to be around wealthy men, an expensive, lavish lifestyle, alcohol, partying, celebrities, lavish cars. Yeah, it's their fault that your daughter wants to be around that. Sure. My daughter is 20 years old. Well, okay, I guess she turned 21 pretty fast, because how in hindsight your daughter's 20 years old, but according to the police, she's 21. She is in second year of college. She hadn't told me anything she was doing for a month. Okay, so you don't know what your daughter was doing if she hadn't told you anything for a month. She used to tell me everything. Yeah, well, kids grow up and then they become adults. She went to several presentations. I think that's what he does, not Tristan Tate. So I guess they're trying to say that this is Andrew now. He recruits naive girls from presentations. I don't know, bro. When you live in that type of lifestyle, you don't need to recruit girls. They come to you. I'm just saying. This is just my experience with it. I don't know, guys. I'm just saying what I've experienced in my years and being around guys in similar situations. That's what I think. I think that's where the little fish picked her up and brought her to this one. That he always sent me pictures. Look, mommy, I'm at the presentation. We stay that way. Okay, so your daughter's been lying to you and sending you pictures saying she's in one place when she's in another, but somehow she's this innocent angel that got kidnapped. They give us so much money. The child told me everything. He didn't hide anything from me. Or sorry, it's she, but the way they translate it. They put he, but they mean she. I think she saw her naively, or I guess he saw her naively and politely and brought her there. He wanted to sell it here or abroad. What would she said? Come on. All right, so basically the mother's trying to say that the daughter's innocent and that, one of the Tate brothers was trying to basically traffic their daughter. So that's one of the things that they are trying to charge them with, is trafficking. Okay, so again, guys, like I said, We got to withhold judgment on this one. We got to see how it plays out. I wish these guys the best, but I do want to turn into a teachable moment. And this is where I'm going with this. Just recently, I was on a live stream arguing back and forth with somebody in the comments, trying to justify hooking up with girls at your job, trying to justify hooking up with girls on your campus, trying to justify hooking up with girls in your building or hooking up with girls in your gym. And the point that I was trying to make is that interacting with women is dangerous enough as it is. You don't want these chicks in your proximity. Where did they come and get this girl from? They came and got this girl from their estate, from where they live, right? What does that mean ultimately from a distance? What does this mean? In the simplest form, bringing women home is a liability, period. Don't tell me about all the girls that you brought to your house and nothing bad happened. Don't tell me about all the guys that are constantly bringing home random strangers, random females home and nothing happens. Okay, I've known guys that got 30, 40 grand in the safe and they're bringing home random girls that they met in the club and hooking up, and then somehow the next couple of days they get robbed, and somehow the people that robbed them knew exactly where the safe was. Coinkydink? Not a coinky-dink. It's like you're bringing these chicks over, you can't trust them. These chicks will set you up, right? We hear it in the news all the time. Some guy got gunned down because some chick set him up. So the point I'm trying to make is these chicks are dangerous either way. Whether they're intentionally setting you up or they get jammed up and then get to telling on you and get to blaming things on you. These are things that these women did on their own accord. Keep in mind, had it been a guy, this would be a completely different conversation. And you think I'm bullshitting? Imagine if these guys were running some type of gay webcam service or something like that, and there was a 21-year-old guy that went to go work for them. Do you really think they would be coming talking about kidnapping and all this other kind of stuff? No, they would say this 21-year-old dude chose this type of work. He chose to go work with this company. He chose to go do, webcam, as a 21-year-old adult man. But somehow when we're dealing with females, all of a sudden they get reduced to being these like innocent children. So that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. On a micro or a macro level, it's always going to be the guy's fault regardless. When you're in a relationship with a girl and you let her pick the movie, you pick the movie. You let her pick the restaurant, you pick the restaurant. You let her pick the course of the relationship, you pick the course of the relationship. Even though clearly she's telling you this is what she wants to do. If it goes bad, it's on you now. So I just feel like this is pretty much indicative of what happened to these guys. They brought this new female into the circle, and her parent, her mother or whatever was looking for her. Her mother didn't want to believe, it was her choice. And now they're trying to put everything on these guys and make it seem like they're going out of their way to turn out young girls or something like that and kidnap them and take them against their will, whatever. I don't believe basically, it's just, you got to be careful with women. They are a liability. You always got to be covering your ass, guys. You always got to be thinking, oh, if this and this happens, it's going to come back on me. So let me not put myself in that situation. You have to be very, very careful. Very, very careful. That's all I can say, bro. At the end of the day, it's always going to be the guy's fault. All right? And I guarantee you, if this was a 21-year-old guy that we were talking about, this would be a completely different conversation. It would not be kidnapping or anything like that. It would be this guy chose to go hang out with these guys and go do this type of business. He chose on his own accord. He is a consenting adult. Somehow when it's a 21-year-old college girl, we're treating her like she's a 16-year-old in high school. So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm constantly telling you, do not deal with women in your vicinity just to kind of somewhat try to protect yourself. You can never make women safe. That's the thing. You can never make women not a waste of time, and you can never make women not a liability. It's impossible. Okay, I don't care if you get the best case scenario, you hook up with her on the first night, it's still a waste of time, right? And I don't care if she tells you she likes you and she writes it on a piece of paper, you save text messages, it's still a liability. It's always going to be those things. So what you have to do is you try to minimize it. Minimize the amount of time and effort you waste on these women, minimize the amount of money that you spend, and minimize the amount of risk you take. That's all you can do, right? Is risk management. All right? So, like I said, let's wish these guys the best. Hopefully this shit all blows over. I'm sure they can make bail. I'm sure they're going to make bond. I'm sure they're going to get the bestest of lawyers. And we'll see where this goes. And I don't know if I'm gonna do some type of update. Who knows? I really didn't want to talk about it at all, but like I said, guys keep asking me, and it feels weird to just kind of ignore it. And I didn't want to end up mentioning it later, and then it's like, so let me just get it out of the way now, and move on to regular scheduled programming. All right. So shout out to the Tate brothers. May our best wishes be with them. You know what I'm saying? We out of here. Peace.